Let's go.
Oh, you football guys.
Yeah. Jeff Darlington, let's empty your notebook. The latest on Micah Parsons as we tune in at 8:30 Eastern.
Deal or no deal? No deal. We're still in a trade request situation for Micah Parsons. Now, I'll say this, Jerry Jones, Brian Schottenheimer continue to try to speak with optimism, trying to act like there is no problem here. Reminds me of the Animal House. Don't worry about a thing as everybody in pure chaos races around them. But for now, no deal when it comes to Micah Parsons.
Ragu, should the Cowboys oblige and should they trade Micah Parsons?
I mean, listen, man, if you don't want to pay the guy, so again, Jerry talked about the risk in giving a contract. No ish, Jerry. It's always a risk when you pay players. There's injury, if they both perform, it's a risk when they play for way less than their value. Everybody has some stake in this. But ultimately, if you do trade Micah Parsons, which would be a devastating day in my household, my wife would literally have to nurse me back to health if they decide to do this. The bottom line is you go after a haul, and hopefully you get a lot of pieces, even draft picks, and then we have to wait and see what they turn into based on what we know that Micah is going to be the rest of his career. So should they honor the trade request? God, please no. But if they do, get every possible thing you can in return for Micah Parsons. That's draft picks, that's potentially a player. And if Micah and his agent David Mulligetta is going to make Dallas stand on business, then this could potentially be a real thing while Jerry is telling everybody don't lose any sleep. Because it does not look like he's going to dress for this football team unless he has a new contract.
Field, we had Dan Orlovsky on the show yesterday, and I suggested trading him for a haul that was equivalent to like Khalil Mack or even more, Herschel Walker, and Dan was beside himself that you absolutely have no shot at winning with Dak Prescott if you think about trading Micah Parsons. Bring me back down. Shouldn't they listen to offers if there are offers?
Yeah, if there's a Herschel Walker 2.0 offer on the table, you absolutely should. I mean, it totally reshaped the Cowboys franchise and put them on a trajectory of greatness back in the early 90s when Jerry Jones first took over the team. It was actually in 1989 that he bought them. Obviously, that trade helped catalyze them to a dynasty. On top of that, they need to, at least consider, it's just good business. It's good football business. And by the way, if they do get that Herschel Walker trade offer, what they need to do is they need to make the Lakers throw in a couple of first-round picks to the Cowboys that they can reroute to the Mavericks to make that Luka trade a little more equal 5 months after the fact. Sorry to bring up some old scabs there for Dallas fans, but absolutely you should. That's good business. That's not unique to Micah Parsons. That's pretty much any star player not named top 5 franchise quarterback, a team should consider doing something like that because it is smart football business.
Field, they've moved on. Cooper Flagg is the future of that franchise, okay? Don't be lingering.
Don't be pragmatic over there. Okay. Come on now.
They're all right.
Pragmatic. Open those wounds back up.
Talking about wounds, I'm watching the sound that's coming out of Miami this summer. It just seems like the vibes are off. Jeff Darlington, you're our South Florida guy. McDaniel, Tyreek, Tua even has been very candid. What's your feel on the Dolphins right now?
I don't think the vibes are off necessarily. I think that there's just more accountability, and that is deliberate. When we see Tyreek Hill going off a little bit, when he goes sort of off the rails during his press conferences and starts talking, in the past, everybody's sort of been like, yeah, that's Tyreek just being Tyreek. Right now, I think a deliberate effort is being made that, hey, no, we're going to call him on this. We're going to make him feel more accountable for his words. Tua did it right at the start of training camp by saying, listen, he walked off the field in the last game of the season. He gave up on the team. He has to re-earn that trust. Mike McDaniel going into his press conferences, if Tyreek says something about what they should do with Devon Achane, he's going to go in there and poke a little fun out of too. I don't think the vibes are off. I think this is right. The question is it too late? It's not easy to just go in and suddenly be a different coach and a different team. I think that he's capable of being more accountable with his players. The question is, will it work, and is there enough time to make it work?
Swagger, you've been around a lot of these teams. Your thoughts just from the outside, looking at the Dolphins this summer with all the sound that's coming out of those press conferences?
Yeah, weird. It's weirdo vibes. coming out of Miami. It feels like a team that knows that there will be a significant amount of change if it doesn't go well. It feels like a team that, like, accountability is a great thing, right? And Jeff just brought it up. But accountability, when you're talking about your team in public, it needs to be talked about a certain way, right? We can challenge people. We can bring people to task on certain things. Tyreek in particular, like, being a good football player, being a great wide receiver on this particular roster is not good enough. There's going to be some leadership value that you have to bring to a team that's had so much change, that moved a lot of guys around. There's going to be some accountability, to Jeff's point, that has to come along with that. We are no longer in the day and age where, especially if you're a star player always in front of cameras, where you could just be a good player. You literally disseminate the messaging for your football team. That's why everybody is looking at this Miami situation like, what the hell going on with these dudes that's at the mic and at the stand? Tua is trying to assert himself as the bona fide leader after a new contract, starting quarterback. He understands that he needs to be that way. So there's a lot of things that I think are actually clashing while we try to create this accountability measure. Tyreek is like, I'm a superstar wide receiver, been this way for a long time. Tua is like, I'm the sheriff, I'm the guy that's doing all of the things as far as a quarterback needs to do. Mike McDaniels is trying to bring the reins back on the team and control the vibe around it. And when you don't have those three guys in particular who are always in front of the camera, potentially on the same page, as far as giving a message to the public, we are going to raise our eyebrows and be like, what the hell going on in Miami?
Field, I want to bring you in on this because, let's be sure, they've made the playoffs twice under Mike McDaniel. One of the times, Skylar Thompson went into Buffalo and fought valiantly and they lost. Another time, they went into Kansas City and got the doors blown off them. But last year was a great disappointment. As we head to 2025, and there's all this positivity about the Patriots and all this optimism about the Jets, are the Dolphins still the bona fide second best team in the AFC East?
I don't think it's clear-cut like it has been over the past couple of years. Like, there's a scenario in which I see the Patriots challenging for second in the AFC East or being neck and neck with the Miami Dolphins. And I think that some of what we have been discussing with Mike McDaniel is him kind of gaining power back of his locker room. I think players obviously drive winning, but ultimately if the players aren't bought into the head coach, you're not going to achieve at the highest level. And for the Dolphins, it's no longer a matter of can they make the playoffs. It's can this team meaningfully compete against the cream of the crop in the AFC. We have a lot of football to be played, and maybe some teams in the NFC will surprise us. But the bottom line is this. The AFC looks on paper like an absolutely stacked conference right now. And if the Dolphins don't have some cohesion between their head coach and their best players, and one of their best players specifically in Tyreek Hill, then I don't really care about anything other than the fact that they're going to go to Buffalo or Kansas City or Baltimore or Houston or maybe Denver or Los Angeles in January and have the exact same result that they have had in their two prior trips, which is not good enough. And I think so Mike McDaniel kind of reasserting his position at the top of the locker room, Jeff, to me, is exactly what he needed to do to give this team a chance to achieve higher upside than they have had during his tenure so far.
Jeff, you're there.
There's one thing.
Yeah, go on. I was just going to say
the one thing, though, beyond all of this. Well, yeah, but even beyond that, like the thing that I want to see, I'm most curious about is what the Dolphins are if they stay healthy. I mean, we could talk all day about the locker room culture, the leadership, the accountability. It's just, can their quarterback stay healthy?